guys, if you're watching us already, if you're listening, or you will be listening in the recording, we are with Randall Dobbins right here, and I hope we are on the right page. We're still trying to figure it out. So it's my pleasure to present to you this speaker and the person I'm going to interview today, who is Randall Dobbins, and he's an expert in really playing big. And this is the whole point, because my show is really called Dream Big with Zhanna, inspiring you to reignite, refire, and refuel your life. And so who could be a better guest rather than Randall at this point of time, who will teach us how to go for the first contract with the corporate. So whether you are in your own business, and we'll talk about it later, whether you're a part of big corporation already, that's for you. So let me formally introduce Randall just for a little bit. Randall, and I'm going to be reading his bio, so I haven't memorized it. So for over 10 years, Randall has been instructing diverse suppliers from around the world on what it really takes to be successful in contracting with the largest companies in the world. Not only teaching them what it takes to get contracts, but what it really takes to compete at the highest levels. Thereby allowing diverse suppliers to enjoy the business success they hope. Randall is a business owner. He was a national accounts manager for one of the world's largest distributors, whose accounts were Fortune 100 companies. He developed a proven system for generating huge client value and won an unfair share of large national contracts. Randall also was a supply chain manager for the world's largest oil company, where he created, developed, implemented, and managed strategic programs with the world's largest suppliers. His responsibilities included being a minority business enterprise and women business enterprise coordinator, responsible for identifying and creating opportunities for diverse suppliers. It's the experience of a buyer, seller, and entrepreneur that makes the business partner blueprint programs that Randall created different from anything you will ever come across. And I can attest to that because I've seen what he is doing, and he, on a personal note, he is the most sincere business person that I have ever met, one of them, and one of the rare cases, and he really knows what he is talking about. So Randall, welcome.
Thank you. You're too kind. I appreciate you having me on your show, Zhanna.
Yeah, well, Randall, thank you. It's my pleasure. So let's just dive in. Why did you personally develop an interest in this program, the program that you created, the Business Success Blueprint? Did I pronounce it right? Business Partner Blueprint. Why is it so important to you in the first place?
The backstory on this is I've been blessed to have a pretty fortunate professional career. I've achieved a whole host of things, and a number of people as a Black man paved the path before me, and hopefully I've paved the path for some folks to follow after me. But it's one of those things when you know you have a number of good gifts that the world has kind of made a way for you to succeed, that it's not enough. It's just not enough. And, specifically, I was able to get to some of the higher levels in Shell Oil Company. I was a supply chain manager for them. I was asked to be on some fantastic teams. I was on the team that put together their joint venture between Texaco and Saudi Aramco and Shell. When they put that whole thing together, a multi-billion-dollar thing, we put their supply chain organization together. That was kind of cool. That was kind of fun. We did a lot of work with some pretty amazing suppliers doing stuff that had never been done before. And, you kind of come to understand that, you know, when you get people together in a room that have a good understanding of how things work, then collaboratively they can do things that hadn't been done before. And so I leave Shell and I become a salesman, a national accounts manager, where it is my job to put those kinds of programs together for large chemical companies, the big boys, the Dows, the DuPonts, and all these people. We had to come up with programs that helped them to deliver on the value that they had promised to their customers, you know, their shareholders, you know, the folks who paid the bills and so forth and so on. And then I left all of that and started my own business. And, you know, like most business owners, that's had its highs and lows. The highs are really high and the lows are really low. But one of the things I did was got involved with my local supplier development council. It was the Houston Minority Supplier Development Council at that time, since I've been doing this since '04. And they had a committee called the Strategic Teaming Alliance Committee. And I'm like, well, hey, this is great. I've actually written strategic alliances as a buyer for Shell. So I know what buyers are looking for from strategic suppliers. And I've done this as a seller for Wesco, so I know what salespeople are selling. And we, you know, I don't mean this to brag. I mean this to say that we saw how well the model worked, in that we got our unfair share of contracts. We got 7 out of the 8 that we were targeting. And these were contracts, 5-year contracts of about 15, 20 million a year. So, you know, 75 to $100 million contracts that we're talking about now. And I'm sharing this with everyone, not so that you walk away going, I can't do that. I can't play in that space. You know, that'll never happen for me. I share that to say that what I really know about all of this are things that we as diverse suppliers don't know. And if we do know them, we can compete at that level. So I was volunteering on the committee at my supplier development council, my local business council. And people kept saying, you know, you need to get this information out there. You need to get this information out there. You need to get this information out there. And I said, no. I got this other business I'm running. I'm creating biodiesel. I'm out here doing algae farming. I got my own stuff to do as a business owner. And so somebody actually convicted me about 2 years ago, where they said, you know, you need to stop being selfish and hoarding all of this in your head. You really need to stop. It's like there is a mission, there's a purpose for you to actually make as many diverse suppliers aware of what they don't know as is possible.
In the market, may I ask you, so you're passionate because you probably at some point understood that like going alone and doing business alone is not really like it's the old way of doing things. Like, can you spot the light on the newest tendencies on the marketplace? And what I mean is, like, you are teaching people on how to partner with the big boys, as you call them, with corporations. Now, why is it so important? Because they can just what's the latest tendency on the market? It's like collaboration rather than competition. No, we're gonna do it because before everybody was like a lone wolf in the business. Everybody was keeping a secret, right? And this is
so you got 2 issues. The first issue is why is this a problem? So let me ask that question first. Why this is a problem is a lot of us will say corporates will never do business with us because we're a minority, because we're a woman, because we're LGBTQ, because we're a service disabled veteran, because we're disabled, whatever. That's the perception that we have. And for a lot of us, that is very real. That's how it feels when people say no. Okay? Because we believe in what we do. From the other side, the issue is we're not doing business with you because all the information we have leads us to believe you don't understand our business, you don't know what our real requirement is, and as such, we believe you don't have the capacity to help us. And by capacity, it's you're too small to work with our company. Okay.
Well, I was gonna ask you the size of the company. Does it matter? Like, when do you define, or when do you determine, when is that a turning point when you really feel like it's time for you to go and at least try to get the first contract?
So the size of the company doesn't matter. That gets to the heart of your second question, which was, we find ourselves now in 2017 in what I call the partner economy. If you're going to market, you need to have a good group of strategic partners from which you can figure out what the right product and service set is for your target customer. The whole notion of doing this by yourself, being a lone wolf, is going to be fraught with frustration, is going to be fraught with people telling you you can't handle our business. It's going to be fraught with just a lot of time and a lot of hair and complication and everything built in. So if you are a business owner, and I don't care, you can be a solopreneur, you can be whatever, in 2017, you need to know how to have strategic partners that you can work with to broaden your solution set to go after the business that you want, even if it's a smaller business. We talk to grocery store owners and small grocery store owners who may have a boutique shop, realize that if they're trying to get a larger wallet share of just a plain Jane retail customer, it's got to be more than just the one item. All right. It's like, I got to offer, my massage therapy, but I probably need massage oils. I probably need some relaxation music. I probably need some additional enhancements, so that when a customer comes into my shop, when they come to work with me, I've thought about everything they need for a complete solution. I don't have to do it all. I don't have to spend all the money on everything. I can get folks to work with me. We all win, but we deliver an overall better solution for our customer. And that's the partner model. And what we call it business partner blueprint. We talk about how you actually go through and put those relationships together.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, do you have to have a product or a service? Like, what are the industries that can partner with big boys, with a big company?
At this point, it doesn't really matter. We don't pick winners and losers. So our process does not depend on an industry. It does not depend on a product or service type. We've seen, if you look in the product space, you can see a great example of a partnership between AT&T and Apple, in that they created the iPhone.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
They put their heads together and did something that the world had never seen before. And both companies put a service model around that. And then when you start looking at the apps that have come out, you see software companies have started getting together in the tech space to create collaborations and partnerships so that they can get an app to market.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love it that, because a lot of, I'm just thinking about the people who are listening and watching us. So what you're offering, this business partner blueprint, is really for whether that's the solopreneurs, whether you are, so the size of the company, like you said, doesn't matter. It could be just one person operation, and you could be ready to go and partner with the corporations.
Absolutely.
So I think the issues, what are the common fears that these businesses face before they make the decision to go for it?
Typically, as you know, most everything in life is rooted in one of two emotions. It's either love or fear, and you accurately put your finger on fear. And in some cases, we want to do it ourselves because we have complete control. So there's the fear of loss of control. There's the real fear of not having a trustworthy partner. That is rooted in both real and perceived issues. Anybody that's ever had a bad relationship is very, very nervous about developing a partnership with someone else. There's a fear of not knowing how to do it. You know, what happens if I partner with the wrong people? And I mean, you put your finger, there's a whole host of fears, and we kind of work people through most all of that. Because what you have to understand is in some cases, fear is healthy, and in some cases it's not. So how do you, rather than avoiding fear altogether, how do you use your healthy fear to move you along? There will be there are challenges in just having a business by yourself. There are going to be challenges having a business with someone else. And we're not saying you have to merge with another company, that you have to create a legal entity. There's a lot of different ways people can work with other companies. As a matter of fact, we actually advocate that, because as business owners, we need to have control of our own intellectual property. We need to protect what we have a competitive advantage for. So those are things, but a lot of us aren't clear about that. And so we kind of work through that as well. If I know what I'm best at, where I make the most amount of money at, then I can figure out who to get to help me with the things I'm not good at or that I don't want to do, but that my market or my customers need.
Yeah. Another question that comes to mind: what are the tweaks? Like, do the companies, again, the size doesn't matter in this case, do the companies have to tweak the way they operated or selling their product or service in order to go try to get the contract with the way they were selling it on the market? Does it matter before they try to get the first contract?
That's a great question. So the short answer is possibly. And here's the framework for that answer. If you're selling your product and service the way a potential corporation buys it, then no. But one of the biggest problems with diverse businesses and selling into corporations is that we don't. All right. So then the question becomes, and we refer to this as a design principle. Then one of the bigger issues is, well, how do I find out how large companies go to market to buy my commodity? If I know that, I can figure out whether this is something I can do on my own, or if this is something I need to bring some partners in so that, different people can handle different portions of it. And I'll give you one of the better examples. A lot of people go into Walmart and they get really, really, really confused because they say, wow, look at all this stuff that Walmart owns. And if you go to the Dawn or Gillette or Tide shelves in Walmart, you have no idea that there's a company called Procter & Gamble that does not get paid until after the product is sold. They come in, they stock the shelves, they handle the inventory, they manage all of that. Walmart just gives them shelf space. That's it. Now, from our point of view, we walk into Walmart, they handle the transaction, they handle the customer service, they handle everything else. But Walmart does not own a laundry powder manufacturing plant.
Do you have a visual that you could give to people about? I know you mentioned in one of the interviews before, one of your videos, I was really impressed by that. It's simple to understand. It's about how you get into the space of corporations and partnering with that. You know what I'm talking about.
I know which one you're talking about. We've got this thing. It's a great one to bring up right now in terms of figuring out what you actually sell to a corporation. And the analogy is never sell tires to a new car shopper. And the idea was, think of all of us going into a showroom. You know, we know we want a brand new car. We want that new car smell. We want the reliability of the first couple of years with no maintenance. You know, we have this experience in mind. Now we're going in, we've got our money together and everything. We know how this is going to work. And imagine if the salesperson comes up to you, you say, "Hey, I'm interested in a brand new car." And he goes, "That's great. I got a set of tires I want to sell to you." And you go, "Huh?
Wi-Fi.
What?" I came to buy a new, I mean, I get the tires are on the car, but I came to buy the car. I didn't come to buy the tires. And that's the experience that a lot of supplier diversity professionals have when they meet folks like you and me. When we go up to one of these expos or one of these conventions and we want to talk to them about what we do, you know, they're looking for new cars more often than not, and we're selling tires.
Exactly.
And the issue is, it wasn't important enough to us to find out how they go to market.
Yeah. So Randall, we're gonna be wrapping up very soon. It's very insightful, and what I would love for you to share with everybody, maybe one to two specific tips on how to get really ready, or at least the initial step for them to get ready to be contract ready to go for corporation. Like something, what is that first tweak they need to make? And then I really want you to share where to find more info about your program. But something specific, something that just to give them the food for thought before they really like what can they do today or start thinking about today to move that direction.
Great question. It's going to be hard to get it down to one, but this one is perhaps the most powerful, because if you get this, you'll be able to start designing out from there. And oftentimes these really and truly are pretty significant relationships in the lives of an entrepreneur when you start performing at this level. And I kind of think of it this way. You know, think about your significant other and ask yourself, what is the one thing that I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that my significant other values that I do? Not what are all the things that I do that I think she or he should value, but what are the things that I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, because it was important for me to learn. What is it that if anybody asks them, you know, imagine being on the dating game, you know, what is it that if somebody asked them, they would say they valued? Okay. All right. It's a question you ask them and they have to answer it about you. So the tip is this. We as diverse business owners have to understand how our corporate clients define value, and we have to offer them something they would say they value. If we get that right, they're going to say, tell me more. It's going to lead to the second question, which is, well, do you know, we know they value it. We know how much they value it. Now we just got to give it to them the way they want it and as much of it as they can handle.
Awesome. Okay. So it's just a matter of like getting in their head and imagine and trying to find out how and what they will value in our products and services. First, that's the first initial step.
And I want to tell people, you know, just briefly, I know we're wrapping up. You know, a friend of mine always said, if you're going to rob somebody, rob a bank. Why? Because that's where the money is. Okay. Now, I'm not advocating any crimes here, everyone. Okay. It's probably a bad analogy. I'm not advocating any crimes, but here's what I want you to think about. The United States economy is roughly $19 trillion in size. The Fortune 500 companies are responsible for 65% of that, or around 11, 12 trillion dollars. That is an easy target for us So that's where the money is. But secondly, it's much easier to sell to them than it is a consumer. They buy more, they have rules around how they buy, they measure how well they buy it. So once we get in, we're good. We can leverage the cachet of a contract with a large corporation to go fund everything else we want to do. If that's not a target, it should be. That's where the money is.
Yeah, yeah. So the advice really is to do the homework, and the homework in terms of understanding what they value, what they could value in what we are offering to them. Yeah.
And they're looking for us.
Yes.
They know that the next source of innovation for what they need to do for their business. I mean, we're seeing Sears close their doors right now. We're seeing some other people. They have old, outdated business models. They need us. Okay.
How long is that process? Like from your experience, to get the like from the beginning until the end, to get ready to be contract ready, to put everything in place, and to actually close the contract, like close the deal. What's the shortest amount of time that it took for you to close the deal with a company?
It can vary. I'd had a great relationship with a company previously, and Hurricane Katrina came through and we got our first contract. It was about, I don't know, a $2-4 million contract to start providing utility hardware to Southern New Orleans. We did that in about 30 to 45 days.
Wow.
Now that's not typical. That one was driven by a natural disaster, but we live in a place where hurricanes, earthquakes, tornadoes, blizzards, droughts, heat waves. We live in a place where tragedies can occur at any time. So if you understand that, you can position yourself for that opportunity. Realistically, and we walk through this in the business partner blueprint, a large corporation that have what they call a sourcing exercise, those can take up to 18 months before they will award a contract.
So it's a longer period of time.
Yeah, but what we're talking about right now as business owners is being strategic, and we want to be ready for the opportunity, because as we said earlier, the number one condition for corporations that oftentimes diverse businesses aren't ready.
Yes. So I want you to explain, can you please explain about what you do in this program, Business Partner Blueprint, and how people can get in contact with you and be a part of it?
So we have two offerings right now for folks. You can go to businesspartnerblueprint.com/ first contract. And we've got a webinar coming up for our new program, which we call Harvest, our Harvest program. And it walks you through what it takes to get your first corporate contract. So if you are a solopreneur, home-based business, been in business for less than 3, 4, 5 years, just now making the decision that this is a target you want to go through, then we kind of ease you through the process. It'll be about 2.5 hours, 2 hours of.
Are you talking about it's 2.5-hour webinar or the program?
No. The webinar is going to be about 30 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. The program itself is about 2 hours.
Really? Just 2 hours?
Just 2 hours for the first one. Yeah, because to get your first contract, I mean, there's quite a bit of things involved, but it's really more checklist related. We give people a way to communicate with us, to work through some of the details, but we walk you through the concepts of what you really need to know. And the bigger issue in all of this is we as diverse suppliers, we don't know what we don't know. We're pretty smart. We're pretty savvy. So once somebody helps us to understand what it is we don't know, we can take that and run with it. We're energetic. We're engaged. So for those of us that can get the idea and run with it, then fine. For those of us that need that want a little bit more help and a little bit more structure, then we got that there as well.
Oh, okay. But 2 hours just to get all that let's say we're going for it in 2 hours, we can get everything, the whole list of things and how to do it and get to
Yep,
the,
yep, yep, yep. Now, don't think you're going to work through it in 2 hours. It'll take me about 2 hours to give it to you, but it's going to take you a little longer to
but
work
that's
through it.
fantastic. I mean, usually this programs, I expected like you're gonna say it's a year-long program and blah, blah. No, 2 hours. Come on,
That
guys, we
that's
can do it.
that's the first one. Yeah, no, our second class, the master class, that's the one where we really and truly get into the secret sauce. That one is about 20 hours of content delivered over over the span of about a 6 month program.
Okay.
And that one, will have its own Facebook group and weekly coaching calls and lots 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 of hands-on training about a whole host
Hands-on.
of things. So
Yeah, but this is another option, but it all starts with this 2 hour training. And if you guys want to connect with Randall, we're gonna put it in the comments under the video, right? So blue, it's what's the website again? It's businesspartnerblueprint.com/first contract. Am I
correct.
correct?
First contract is one word.
First contract. So we're gonna put it, you and I, we both of us, we will put it in the comments. And if you guys found this valuable, go ahead and contact Randall, because he truly is an expert in what he's doing. And he is a beautiful, amazing individual. Very, like what I love about you, Randall, is you are in integrity with everything around you. This is a spiritual business owner, and by that I mean like he stands in his value, and like I said already, he knows exactly what he's doing, and he has your best interest in mind when he's talking to you. Super smart. Thank you, Randall. I'm so glad that you were a part of this program, and I just can't wait to talk with you more.
You are too kind. Thank you so much. And similar spirits. So you know how we all attract one another.
Yes, yes, yes. I do know that. So guys, it's a businesspartnerblueprint.com slash /first contract, and it's one word, and we're gonna put it in the comments. And have a beautiful day and dream bigger, because it's possible. Listen to Randall. He's saying it's a piece of cake to get a contract. You just need to be ready for it. That's all. So contact him. Bye. Bye. And thank you, Randall. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. Okay.